This video is not intended for children. Viewer discretion is advised.
If you haven't already, please like, share, and subscribe. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. Greetings and welcome to Mornings of Mischief. I'm your host, Stone Logie, and today we have a awesome guest with us from Heel versus Babyface. Az, how are you doing, brother?
I'm good. Thank you very much indeed. Thank you for having me.
Oh, thank you for being here, dude. Thank you so much. Oh, yeah, Josh and Rebecca Momini. Az!
Well, I got hit by a shrink ray. This is a normal sized bottle of water. I've been hit by a shrink ray by something. This is what's going on. This is weird.
Yeah, that action figure behind you is usually, like an inch tall, and now it's like...
Yeah, that's a 5.5-inch figure there. It's just like, what happened? Something happened. I went to bed and I had a quick snooze, and then I woke up and what was going on?
Yeah, everybody is throwing out greetings this morning. Samantha Joe, Az, good morning. Good morning. Mark Damon tired. Az, oh my God, it's Az. Ah! I know I'm fangirling too, guys. I'm like, oh my God.
Why would you fangirl over me? It's ridiculous. Don't, please, for God's sake, no.
Darth Hatcher, oh my tentacles, it's Az. Oh, man.
Hey. Lady.
Crimson Mist, the Redcoats are here.
Yeah, literally, yeah.
Yeah, we are.
Although they're red hoodies nowadays. Are kind of
this is the continuation of Purple's plan to take back the colonies, guys.
Well, judging by how things are going over there, I think we should. I think the landlords should come back and, keep your deposit, keep your bond and whatnot. And sort some stuff out, redo your carpets, redo your wallpaper and stuff.
Get rid of the mold. Yeah, get rid of the mold.
Put things back on, yeah. Oh, God.
But yes, it is an honor that you're here. Thank you so much for agreeing to come on this morning and talk about what the hell is happening with females in games. What in the hell is happening with females in games? It's like they pulled out the whole ugly tree and they're just bashing female game characters now.
Not in Japan.
Yeah, not in Japan. No, not in Japan. I played the hell out of that Final Fantasy remake, and man, Tifa's had to be my favorite character on there. I got so excited when I saw her beating ass. It was just incredible.
Tifa!
Yes. Yes.
Well, if you're talking about what the Western video game companies are doing with female characters, it's simple. Escapism isn't escapism anymore. Our escapism, our fantasy is not allowed to be fantasy. It's got to be realism. It's got to be hyper realistic. Well, it's not even hyper realistic. I mean, we've got The Last of Us 2 that literally took an attractive 21-year-old woman with curves and flattened her chest and broadened her shoulders and only used her face. She was a literal face model because they already had the body worked out because they needed to conform to body type 3.24. instead of actually appreciating that women are women in reality as well. But we can't have women with breasts, and we can't have women with hips, and we can't have women with ass, because that unfortunately is sexual. Because women, that's all they are. They're just sex objects. So again, they become a victim of their own hypocrisy, because they say we're not allowed to sexualize women and then they themselves are conforming to that rule of, well, breasts are sexist and ass is sexist, hips are sexist, lean on shoulders is sexist. So it's laughable stuff. Whereas Japan are just like, fuck it.
Yeah, pretty much just bucket. Hot women are hot women.
Yeah. So basically, that's how it's going at the moment.
No, we've got a beautiful woman in the chat right now. So,
indeed we do. Indeed we do. Purple Lady, our purple Valkyrie, is here with us today.
Oh, I thought about you, Stone, but never mind.
So that's how it's going basically at the moment. It's male gaze is bad. You can't have attractive women. What about women wanting to see other attractive women?
Oh, your voice doesn't count. I'm so sorry.
Fair enough. Good to know.
You get spoken to. You don't get spoken at. You don't get talked. You're not part of the process of discussion. Again, you have your people of power like Cuckman. He will tell you how you're allowed to look. He will tell you how you're going to be represented. Because he watched a feminist frequency video and Anita's showed him the weir and whatnot. But yeah, it's quite funny that women also like to see attractive women on screen as well. But did you see the PlayStation 5 reveal, the pair of you?
Yes. Well, I did, yes. I just was with you at the time.
Yeah. So you saw Karen in space.
Oh my
as
God.
one of the announcements where we literally saw a Karen in space, and then I saw mainstream media start gushing. Oh my God, this is so amazing! It's like a 48-year-old woman, and
so progressive.
Yes, it's so progressive. It's just like, fuck God, who wants to play Karen in space? Yeah. So women, unfortunately, you are just as repressed as men are when it comes to this discussion.
Who wants to pay for that, though? I mean, we pay for this, right? This is stuff we pay for, stuff we have to buy. Who the hell wants to pay for that?
Well, entertainment's not entertainment. Entertainment is being it's eroded. Escapism is eroded now. The things our hobbies, which we attach ourselves to, comics, video games, collecting, whatever it is, movies, they're all being overridden. We're now being lectured to, we're now being preached to, we're being told what moral standards we need to adhere to. Well, the people that do it break them on themselves. And again, a complete hypocrite. You got to understand, you can't look at this from a logical perspective because they're hypocrites. So if you try and look at it from a logical perspective, it doesn't work. And if you just like, screw this, I want to have I don't want big muscular dudes, and I want big sexy women in my video game, then you're part of the problem, then you're a sexist and all this kind of stuff. So yeah, entertainment is no longer entertainment. It's sit down and please accept the message.
I can't do that. I can't do that. I won't spend the money on it. I'm not going to spend the money on it.
Serious question though, both of you. What was the last game that you bought? I'm guessing, was it the Final Fantasy for the two of you?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, no. It was Command & Conquer Remaster. But again, that's a game from the 90s that got remade and looks absolutely beautiful. So I like the old strategy games. I don't like any of the new stuff, but I like the old strategy games. But again, remake. It's another remake.
Yeah, Final Fantasy 7 for me. I'm not going to be getting The Last of Us 2 or anything like that.
No.
I'm good. Judging by, I've had all the leaks sent to me and everything, and even testers have contacted me And they've been like, right, we've gone through the whole game. These are the aspects of the leaks that are correct. These are the aspects of the leaks which aren't correct. Spoilers. The leaks are correct, apart from one element. Well, two elements. There's just two elements of that. I'm not going to spoil it for anybody. I'm not going to say it in case any of your audience want to purchase the game. But there's just like two elements of the leaks, and they were like, when I say minor, one was just confirmation on exactly what happened at the end, and the other one was as regards to Abby's status, shall we say. But no, if I'm investing money in a game, I want fun, I want excitement. You know, I don't mind being told a sad story, but it can't be. It has to be logical, and it has to. You know, if it's a sequel, particularly with something like The Last of Us, then it has to have that what's the word? Consistency. It has to have the consistency of character that the first game had. You know, I need my characters to behave in the same logical way that they behaved in the first game. If they don't, then there's a disconnect, and particularly with a game like The Last of Us Part 2, there's a massive disconnect when you go through all the because some of the leaks are just like, they don't have the context behind the leak, and then now that I've been told all the context behind the leaks, it's just like, oh my god, this is worse. This is actually worse than I thought it was going to be. So, look at this water bottle.
Sounds like you saved yourself some money, though, both of you.
No, I think Kirkman saved the world some money.
Oh yeah. There should be another stimulus check going out for everybody who's, you know, stuck at home because of COVID, just because, you know, they saved enough money to not buying that game.
Well, I think they'd be retracting the stimulus check. You know, you've saved some money. You didn't buy The Last of Us Part 2. You got a little bit more cash. There you go. You can get some food this week with that. But the person that put the leaks out, I mean, thank you. The initial leaks, thank you very much. I think you've saved the world a lot of money there.
Well, from what my understanding, that was a disgruntled employee, a disgruntled Naughty Dog employee that was told basically, well, you're not going to get any money and your bonus is going to be delayed by up to a year. And he was like, well, you know what? Have at it, vultures. Here you go. Here's everything I've got. Enjoy.
Well, there was the whole situation around that is really interesting, because you had the leaks come out. You had everyone saying, well, this has got to be a disgruntled employee. There's no way that it can't be a disgruntled employee. Naughty Dog, Sony, Muso, they're running around striking channels like myself, left, right, and center, pulling down everything that they possibly can as regards to the leaks. And the mainstream media are saying nothing at all. They're keeping stum, every single one of them. No outlet, no Eurogamer, no Forbes, no Kotaku. Nobody's talking about this mass striking that's going on, and they're all feigning ignorance. And then suddenly there is this tidbit of news from Naughty Dog saying, we have discovered where the leak came from. It was not a disgruntled employee. It was external for the company. And within moments, every mainstream outlet, bang, there's an article up about it. There's a tweet up about it, taking to the article. Every single one who's been quiet, bang, bang, bang. Leaker discovered, nothing to do with Sony or Naughty Dog, da-da-da-da. And then people who actually have an understanding of games development are just like, hello, you can't hack this stuff that got leaked. You have to have a physical dev kit to play it on. And the only way that you can get hold of a physical dev kit is by being a dev. Or you would have to have your dev kit stolen, which means they would have had to have had a break-in to somewhere, stolen the dev kit, but even then you can't just get things to run. So people with much more knowledge than I were just coming out saying, no, this is clearly a bullshit story. That, you know, there might be multiple people involved in the process of getting it leaked, but it had to have started with a dev at the company. Has to have. But you notice that ever since they did that, it's never been mentioned again. You know, they said, we found them. We're not going to say anything more about it. We're not going to say who. You know, and this is a company that is pulling down people left, right, and center. That's making it an example of channels left, right, and center. And yet they just have this one-arse sentence of, we got him, you know, fucking a Barack Obama, ladies and gentlemen, we got him type of business. And that was it. So the bullshittery is real. It was an employee, for sure. It was a dev, for sure. Was it a dev that was still at the company? Dunno. Because they did lose 70% of their developers since the release of Uncharted 4. Yeah. So yeah, it's just amusing that they try to cover it up in such a way, and then they use the mainstream media to spread that message. But interesting.
They also, they also used YouTube as a stick to beat content creators, didn't they?
Well, yeah. They tried to, like I said, they tried to make an example of YouTube, of content creators. They tried to stifle the message, but all they did was create the Streisand effect. All they did was put more, because what they don't get is mainstream media is useless now. There's, you know, people for the most part aren't going to mainstream media. It's a dying breed. So yes, you still have your Kotakus and your Polygons and your Eurogamers and your GameSpots, which are still classed as rather big, but they are dying compared to what they used to be. IGNs, they're dying compared to what they used to be 15 years ago, when they used to be a much more objective, a much more honest medium, where people would actually go and be, should I buy this game? Well, yes, you should. Well, it's not that good. It's okay. Well, no, it's not. Now it's all pandering to the companies because they want to have their interviews, they want to have their invites, they want to have their free copies, because these people don't buy video games. I don't think half of them play video games. And people, for the most part, are now starting to come to YouTube channels. They're starting to come to a regular person who doesn't have an allegiance to a company that isn't bought. When I say bought and paid for, I'm not talking literally. I'm talking in a sense that they will skew their review, whatever it may be, to pander to the company so they do get their perks. So essentially they are puppets. And they just want a regular person telling a truth, you know, their truth, their honest opinion on whether or not a game should be bought or not.
Do you remember back in the day, like the old Electronic Gaming Monthly days, when you had people like Gamer X and Captain Commando that made it like a lifelong mission to bend games over and just give it to them? And now we've got people in the gaming review industry that are like, well, I'm using this as a political stepping stone so I can be a political correspondent one day. They don't even, it's like you said, dude, they don't even play video games. Why the hell am I going to read a review from someone who doesn't even play a damn game? They just, I watched it on YouTube, guys. There's a guy.
People just want honesty. You know, they don't necessarily need to have somebody drag a game over the coals. They just want honesty. They just want somebody to give them an opinion that they can trust. And if that opinion is the game's fantastic, go out and buy it, then they're like, great. You know, this is an opinion from somebody I trust, and they've said, go get this game. I'm going to get it. And if that person's like, well, you know, it's going to cater to these people. If you're a this, it might not. You might not get all of it. But they just want some honesty. You know, it's not a matter of, sock it to them, you know. But over the course of the years, as video games have, you know, for the most part anyway, some of them have become less and less about entertainment and more about, you know, message, same with the comics industry and whatnot, then yeah, you're going to get more resistance because this is meant to be an entertainment medium. So if you just have the same grind, if you have an annual franchise which is just producing the same title with a different menu system every year or something like that, and there's very little actual change to the game, then you're just going to erode people's interest. You're just going to build up eventually apathy, and people are just going to be like, fuck you, fuck your game. And it isn't necessarily a screw you. It's just you've just built up this apathy. It's your fault. You didn't develop, and game companies, for instance, like Blizzard Entertainment, 15 years ago, they are Bethesda as well. They're market leaders. They're showing the industry the way. Bethesda coming out with groundbreaking MMOs, groundbreaking RPGs, I should say, with Morrowind and Oblivion, and then moving on to Skyrim. World of Warcraft with Blizzard, Diablo. These are all market-leading games. They were the innovators. They were the ones who are like, right, we're going to show what we can do as a company. We're going to push this industry forward as a medium. And the other companies, they can come along, they can try and catch up if they want, but we're going to set the standard. And now they're chasing the money. They're no longer the market leaders. They're no longer the companies that highlight the way, show the way, spotlight where the industry is going to go. Blizzard are phoning in World of Warcraft. They've been phoning in World of Warcraft for donkey's years now. Diablo's when I say it's a joke comparative to what and how Diablo 2 was received. Bethesda with, what are they putting out? Fallout 76, broken, buggy messes because they're just chasing the money. They're chasing the sandbox. They're chasing the digital coin. Blizzard are now focusing on mobile games because China are the biggest preponderant of revenue for mobile games, and it's massive compared to investing in an MMORPG of the future. So all the innovation is gone, and all the focus on the cheap buck is there, and these are our market leaders. So it's no wonder, that the games, even though the games, the actual industry itself is growing and growing and growing, if you look where it's growing in mobile exponentially compared to PC and console. Console is dropping off. PC's dropping off comparative to mobile, and it's because people are just picking up their phones and casually playing through, which is an indictment on where mainstream games is and where innovative games are, and how just a casual audience is picking up, and it's all just buck. It'll just be no different to the gambling industry in 10 years' time.
Mm-hmm. It does seem like it's gone that way, especially, as you say, with the online games, with the pay to win, or it's either you pay to get the boxes or you grind and grind and grind and grind.
Do you remember? Do you remember back in the day as when if a gaming company had a critical failure, I mean big, just tank of a game, that was it, dude. It was like almost every game they had their company riding on. They had their company riding on a project, and now they can fail. They can fail over and over and over again. They can have hideous launches and say, we'll fix it. We'll fix it after it launches. And it doesn't seem to matter anymore whether a game turns out to be shit or not. They just make another one.
Well, I mean, again, Bethesda's a perfect example of that with Fallout 76, EA and Anthem. Perfect example of that. These are games which are absolute disasters that were determined to be fixable. I mean, the hilarity is we have somebody like Pete Hines, for example, at Bethesda, who admits that the game was not ready, admits that it was broken, admits that it was released too soon, admits that they weren't prepared for this, and then in the same breath turns around and says, but it's horrible YouTubers that's the reason why it failed. And you're just like, no. I think you find it's your shitty product. Because your product speaks for itself. A YouTuber can say Fallout 76 is shite, but if the product's actually good, people are like, no, it's actually a very good game. Which wasn't the case. It was dog shit. And people saw it was dog shit and they could see what they were trying to do. They were trying to cash in on the sandbox gaming genre, which was going out there. People were putting out half-assed games. They were putting out early access games, which was becoming more normalized. Thank you to games like Anthem and Fallout 76. They've now sort of killed that. and these were sandbox games which were, releasing early access, pay for early access. Essentially pay for us to put out something broken and then we'll fix it eventually. And if it doesn't work, then we'll move on to another project and, fuck you. And we've got into a situation where Fallout 76 is still an absolute disaster. And Anthem is done. It's done. They're having to remake the game. And it's you had all this again, mainstream media say, Anthem 2.0s are coming. Anthem next because of No Man's Land. No Man's Scam, as I like to call it. Another scam title from Hello Games. That's going to be 6 months away or so. And I was like, you can't rebuild a game in 6 months. It's impossible. Because a game like Anthem has to be literally built from the ground up in terms of what they want. So you're looking at least 2-3 years, and then recently they said nothing's going to happen for about 2 years. And this is their own fault. This is their own fault. These are situations that they put themselves in. And then EA came out after the Anthem debacle because I think it released last year on February the 22nd for everybody. It released a week earlier for Origin Access. But it released on the 22nd of February for the whole world. And then they wanted 6 million sales before the end of March of that year. That's what EA wanted from Anthem. So to end that first financial quarter and the end of the tax year, they wanted 6 million copies of Anthem sold. They sold 3 million.
Remember, it's going to be a destiny killer. It's a destiny killer. That's what they kept saying. It's a destiny killer.
Not when I played the first beta of it. No.
The suit, the suit, and the combat, and I think I lasted a day, and I was like, no, I'm done.
But it was, these are games which they knew were going to be disasters on launch. But I mean, a success story. You have to go back to 2010 some people argue that No Man's Scam is a success story. I'll say isn't a success story, even though people are happy with the way the game is now, because you were conned. You were absolutely conned with that game. You're going to be able to do this, that, and the other. You had, I keep getting his name wrong because he's a horrible, irrelevant person. But you were told, you can do this, you can do that. Can you meet people in game? Yeah, kind of, yeah. And it was just all a lot of bollocks. It's all a lot of bollocks. If you get to the center of the universe, is something special is going to happen? Well, it would be shit if you didn't. We had all this kind of like leading language, and then you got to the center of the universe, and nothing fucking happened at all. It just literally just pulled out, ladies, and that was it. And then they had to. It's Murphy or whatever he's from Hello Games. They had to again rebuild that game, and so what they did is they missold a game for £50, $60, full whack, because it was backed by Sony. Sell a game at full price, absolute bollocks, broken beyond belief, crap, completely missold. how many millions of copies it sold, I don't know exactly, but the vast majority of the audience gone. And then they rebuild it for a fraction of that audience and call it a success. No, you scam people. You scam people out of their mony.
Yeah, it was a game built on smoke and mirrors.
It's just built on lies.
Promises that, down the line we'll get to this. Down the line you'll be able to do this. Down the line this will be unlocked.
But all those down the lines were going to be at launch.
Yeah, and when I saw that Galaxy as for the first time, when he pulled back and it was like, oh, look at this, and he pulls back and you see that giant area and there's thousands of stars and all these planets around all these stars, and you're like, and he's like, they're infinitely generated, so you can just keep exploring and keep doing. And dude, I was sold right then. I was like, oh yeah, I'm switching when it comes out. No Man's Sky, yes. And then I was like, dude, this is the most boring shit. I'm like, mining a rock on a planet.
Yeah, rinse, repeat. All you're doing was going to a planet, trying to find a crashed ship with a bigger inventory than your ship.
Yep.
To rebuild, to take off, to do exactly this next thing. And when I first picked up the game, because my contract on the electricity whatever in the house ran out that I never knew. I didn't realize there was a designated contract. And so I got this letter saying, hey, your contract's running out. We'd love to keep you as a customer. If you re-sign, we'll give you a £50 Amazon voucher. And I'm just like, well, God, why wouldn't I? I kind of like water and electricity in my house. It's kind of helps me live. So I was like, yeah, just bill me as normal. That's great. Thank you. We're going to send you a voucher for Amazon for £50. So I had this Amazon voucher for £50. And I was thinking, oh, what should I do with it? No Man's Scam comes out. I'm suddenly hearing on release day these horror stories that it's a shell of the game. And I'm just like, oh, do I go for it? So I was like, fuck it. So I used this £50 voucher from Amazon that I got to purchase the game. It comes, I put it in, starts off crash ship. You got to go to get these resources, come back and fix the ship. So I start off on this planet. I'm getting my drill out. I'm mining all this shit. I'm fixing my ship up. And I'm just like, oh, this is great. No, this is great because we're starting off. I've got a damaged ship. I'm going to get the resources to build it up. And then I'm off into space now. And I'm going to head off into space. And now I'm going to have my adventure. And what are the people complaining about? And I think I sent a tweet or two to Hello Games going, no, this is great. What are people going on about? This is wonderful. I'm just about to embark on my adventure. I get into space. Come across the next planet, land on the planet, another desolate piece of shit, because they're all desolate pieces of shit.
It's true.
Fucking animals with fucking lanky necks like that. Nothing like the beautiful, lush planets. I'm like, okay, so maybe the first few planets I come across are going to be a bit janky, and then as I go deeper, and then it's just like, right, what do I do on this planet now? Oh, find another crash ship that's got a bigger inventory than yours and do it again. What?
I'm seeing a pattern here.
What?
Yeah.
Seriously? Yeah. Or there's a monolith. If you activate this monolith, you'll get one word of language for a race that you'll probably never speak to again.
Yeah, dude, that's the way it was too. He's not shit, y'all folks. You got one word to talk to an alien race you may never ever meet. Just one word, not the entire language. Just one fucking word.
That was just like, what the fuck is this game? And then I was like, okay, all right, fine. Let's go into space. Let's find some space battle. Let's find some, these worlds that are at war with each other and stuff. No, that doesn't exist. That was a lie. So it's just like, oh, fucking hell. So it's like within 2 hours, you just bored off your fucking tits. It's like, great, thanks, Hello Games. And then Sean Murphy, that's it. Sean Murphy's just like, I might have lied to everybody.
You think?
Got your money. But you have to go back to 2010 to actually have a crazy success story, which was Final Fantasy 14.
Mm-hmm.
And Final Fantasy 14 was due for release in 2010 and did come out in 2010 initially, and was put together for the most part by the same team that did Final Fantasy 11, which was Square. I mean, it's Square at the time. It's Square Enix now. Square Enix's first MMORPG, and it is a numbered Final Fantasy game. Final Fantasy 11, then you had 12, 13, then 14 was going to be their second MMORPG. And they really didn't change the way that the game played comparative to Final Fantasy 11. And they had all these different departments working on the various aspects of the game. And then when you put it all together, it was a fucking disaster. and even they knew it was a disaster. And they're coming up to the launch and they're like, oh, God, our game's fucked. But we've got this release date in 2010. So I think it's August 2010 comes around when it or September when it's due for release. They put it out. They've just had the beta. They had to wait until I think it was a month before launch of the game to even get the beta out because they had nothing. And when I say they had nothing to really go with here, and that had been poorly received. You had to have a keyboard, mouse, and a fucking pad to play it on the PC. It was nuts. It was absolutely fucking nuts. And so I'm a massive, as many of you know, I'm a massive Final Fantasy fan. So I'm part of this. I'm here at ground zero, and I buy it, and I'm just like, because I actually participate in the beta, and I was just like, this is garbage, absolute garbage. But give it the benefit of the doubt when it comes out. Try again. I'm such a fan. I'm just like, try again, try and get into it again. And it comes out, and it's a fucking disaster, absolute disaster. So within a month of the launch of the game, we're getting emails from the head of Square saying, we're really sorry, this game is not up to the standards of Square. This is not up to the standards that you expect of Final Fantasy. We are, with immediate effect, stopping the subscription model on the game. We're not going to be charging you. And we are going to try and rebuild this game. We're going to try and get it fixed. So they bring on board Yoshi P, who's actually currently working on the Dragon Quest series, which is another beloved Square franchise. And they bring him in to organize and to try and fix the game. So he comes in, he does this massive micromanagement, literally works out how long it will take to create a piece of the game, how long you have to factor people's toilet breaks, cigarette breaks, lunch breaks, and work out exactly how much true work time they can get done in a day. And he worked out that it was 6 hours of work. That was the productivity of somebody who came in for whatever hour day it is, a 10-hour day, an 8-hour day, whatever. But it was 6 hours of productivity. So he was working off that basis of 6 hours of productivity per person on the team to try and rebuild this game. And he said, yes, this is awful micromanagement, but you've got to do it when you're trying to rebuild something. Mm-hmm. So they're trying to rebuild this, and it comes to a quite an early conclusion. It's fucked. The whole thing is fucked, and they can't fix this properly. So Yoshi P goes to the heads of Square and says we got two options. So the first option is we keep micromanaging the game, we keep patching the game, but it's fucked. And it's literally not going to get to a good standard, and we're going to have a very small fan base, and our reputation is going to be screwed because this is a Final Fantasy numbered title. This is Final Fantasy 14. The second option, we build a whole fucking new game behind the scenes.
Yep.
we build a whole new game behind the scenes while still patching and releasing content for this game. So, and Square are just like, this is our brand. Final Fantasy is our brand. When people think of Square, they think of Final Fantasy. Build the other game while still fixing and patching the existing game. So he starts to build this Final Fantasy Realm Reborn behind the scenes, while at the same time putting out repairs, changes, content for this broken game, which they know is going to go away very soon because they're going to start bringing in the new game. So they're literally creating content that they know is going to be live for like 6 months. And that's the lifespan of this content, and it's done. They're going to shut the servers down. So it got to a point where they're just like, right, now we need to shut the servers down to work on finishing Final Fantasy 14 A Realm Reborn, which was the 2.0, with promised people that they'll be able to play it on the PlayStation 3. So we're going to work our asses off to make sure that it's released ready for the PlayStation 3 and not the PlayStation 4 lifetime. So they wanted it out prior to the release of the PlayStation 4. And we need to develop a story in the broken game that doesn't shit all over the fans that are playing that. Because they've stuck with the game through thick and thin. And to say, hey, right, we're just destroying everything and starting again, they thought was really patronizing to those players. So he's juggling, excuse my phrase, but he's juggling all these balls. He's got these balls that they've got, new game balls, crap game balls, trying to respect their audience that is still playing it. Even Yoshi P, who took over the production, said, when I first played Final Fantasy 14, he said it was shit. It was shit. It was garbage. He said he didn't even know how to log out the fucking game. He said, I clicked to log out the game, and you'd have this message come up saying, hey, if you log out, you might lose all your the work that you've done in this session. And it's just like, I don't want to lose that. If somebody sees that, they're going to be like, I can't log out. I can't log out. What if I log out and I lose all my progress? But it was like a disclaimer, but it was such a harsh disclaimer that it was just like, God, this is freaking people out. So they eventually come up with this storyline of, right, we're gonna create the Umbral Calamity coming to the world of Eorzea. So they create this little dot in the sky. And as time progressed, as they released another patch and another patch and another patch, this dot in the sky got bigger and bigger until people suddenly realized that this was like a meteor coming to hit the world. And it was bringing the seventh Umbral Calamity, I think it was, to the world of Eorzea. So the narrative for the people that had stuck with the crappy broken game was, the calamity's coming. It's going to affect the world. It's going to hit the world. It's going to destroy a huge portion of the world. But out of the ashes, the new game and the new world will rise. Eorzea will rise again. So you can keep your progress going into the new game. We will copy and move your progress into the new game. So they eventually say, right, we need to shut down Final Fantasy 14. We're releasing a new game. They come out and they do the announcement. We're releasing a new game. It's Final Fantasy 14 A Realm Reborn. You'll be able to move your progress over if you're an existing player. We've created a storyline that's going to transition from the shitty game to the new game. When the new game goes, it's gone. It's gone forever. And then this is 2010 when it's first come out. In 2013, August of 2013, A Realm Reborn comes out. And coming up to the release of this game, the dev teams they're like really happy with what they've created comparative to what they had before. But the dev teams are like, what if the people who are just playing the game now are the only people who come back? All we're going to have is a very small niche game that we're going to be happy with. But we've lost our audience. We've lost their trust. We've lost everything. Are we going to be okay with that? And they were kind of like trying to make their peace with the fact that they could have fucked everything. Everything could be fucked. And then Yoshi P tells this story of it's coming to the day of the launch. I think it's either the relaunch of A Realm Reborn or the announcement of A Realm Reborn or something. It's one of those important kind of days. And all of the like Japanese developers would get onto a train and commute to the offices. And he said he was there on the train. He stood there by the door, just ready to come out. And he says there's a little school kid. So the little school kid just stood near to him. And he says this little school kid's like inching his way closer and closer to him until he's stood next to him. And he says the kid doesn't look at me or anything. The kid just says, Mr. Yoshi. He says, sir, I good luck with the announcement today. I'm a player of Final Fantasy 14. And then that's it. Doors open, kid goes off to school. Yoshi P goes to this announcement by Square Enix for A Realm Reborn or for the release, for the release of the game. How is it going to turn out? And Yoshi P is quite a reserved guy. These Japanese guys, they're pretty reserved guys anyway. And he comes to the announcement and he said everyone says their little bit and it comes to him for his bit. And he said he's just about to give his speech. He's just about to say his little bit. And he said his mind just goes back to this kid in the subway with him. And he just, going back to the terrible disaster of the original game. And the kid was just there going, I'm a fan of Final Fantasy and I play the game. And he said he just broke down. He couldn't speak. And so he had to turn around and he had tears coming out of his eyes. And then the crowd's like shouting, you can do this. Come on, you can do it. Really egging him on. And his like real kind of sort of rah attitude to it. So he says he manages to compose himself, says his piece. The Final Fantasy 14 A Realm Reborn releases. Boom. Servers. Over capacity. They couldn't handle the amount of people that came back to the game. He said we wanted to celebrate the release, but we couldn't because the first 6 weeks, all we're doing is we had to stop selling the game because there were too many people coming onto the servers. We had to actually stop sales of the game until we managed to cope with the people that were just flocking to this new version of the game. And it very quickly, throughout the next few years, through the release of Heaven's Ward and Stormblood and Shadowbringers, it very quickly became the saving grace of Square Enix for a long, long time, for many, many years. And that is a success story in video games, right there. And then we've got Fallout 76 and Anthem now.
On the other hand, yes.
That was a long story. Fucking hell.
That was awesome.
Japan cares about its games and they care about their customers and they want it to be successful, especially a company like Square Enix that used to be Squaresoft that came out with Final Fantasy VII as their last ditch attempt to stay a company.
No, Final Fantasy 1.
Yeah, the original Final Fantasy.
Yeah, the original Final Fantasy was called Final Fantasy because it was a Hail Mary.
Yep.
This was it. If that game failed, Square was done.
Yep. And they did it. And I played that game on Nintendo. I played Final Fantasy IV, which was 2 in America. You know, you had 2. That was my holy grail of games. That was the game I could not get, that I had to work a summer to get the money to go to Toys R Us to actually buy it because nobody else had it. And it was like, you know, the light shone down on it. It was like, oh, red and black with the black accents around the box. And you're like, oh.
I got my Cloud on his Daytona over there, as you can probably just see from the remake of Final Fantasy VII.
Yeah, the boys over at Echo Base got one of those too, and I absolutely love those. I got the $80 version. I didn't have enough money to get the Cloud on the motorcycle.
No.
The motorcycle.
I saw the kidney for that, so I think I got my money.
I thought about it. They were making an offer, but
Worth it.
Worth it. Yeah, it's fine. I can cope. Bit of dialysis, I'm good.
Yeah, a little trip to the hospital every once in a while, we're all good.
Yeah, you know, just have the piss drained out of me. I'm fine. It's good.
Well, I want to thank you very much for coming on this morning. Thank you so very much for agreeing to come on here and talk to us this morning. It's absolutely epic. I've had a great time.
I think I talked at you. I don't know if I talked with you. I think I talked at you for God knows how long.
Oh, that's perfectly okay. I have guests that come on and like, oh my God, I talked the whole time. I'm like, well, that's why you're a guest. You're supposed to. This isn't, you know, Loki throws shit at you hour. This is Mornings of Mischief, where if Loki has a guest, by all means, talk. That's what you're here for. And I thank you, dude. This has been the biggest morning we've ever had on here. And I could not have done that without you on here. Thank you so very much.
Thank you.
Hey, no problem. It was,
we appreciate
it. Was wonderful. I'm normally talking about pop culture, so it's quite interesting to go back to my gaming roots. As you can see, I'm just a little bit of a gamer from all the things that.
Just a little bit.
Oh, sorry. Oh, God. You know, a little bit of what's going on around the place. A little bit of there's all my Final Fantasy 7, 8, 9 there. About 68 Parasite Eve 2s because I keep forgetting that I bought it. Got all my PlayStation 2 stuff down there. PlayStation 4 stuff, PlayStation 4 stuff. There's Dreamcast stuff hidden behind something somewhere, maybe up. Yeah, we got some Dreamcast stuff up there. We got Shenmue 1, Shenmue 2. That's the Japanese Phantasy Star Online. That's the Western Phantasy Star Online. Some Blu-ray, you know. So yeah, a little bit of a gamer.
Just a little bit.
Dreamcast down there. PlayStation 2 is at the top, actually. There's PlayStation 2 at the top.
Oh, nice.
Love the PlayStation 2.
We got the PlayStation 1, the Dreamcast, and everything down there. So, yeah, it was nice to talk video games for it.
Yes.
Well, apart from the last of the 2, but I wouldn't call that a video game. I'd call it a nihilistic piece of shit.
Yes. Oh, Valhalla, give this guy a hand, everybody out there in Valhalla. Give this guy a hand because this has been an absolute treat. Dude, I did the same thing. I started talking pop culture and I was like, I'm not going to do gaming. I used to do gaming back in the 2010s. I'm not doing gaming. And it's just slowly slipped out that, yeah, Loki's a gamer and yeah, Loki loves video games. And yeah, I like to talk video games too. So.
But that's what you want. You want to be able to talk about what you love for a change.
Yeah.
It gets a little bit boring talking about crap that, you know, is not working out. It's nice to talk about a success story with Final Fantasy 14. It's nice to, you know, it's nice. It's not just nice to talk about a success story, but it's nice to talk about a company that cared enough. That cared enough to invest over $100 million rebuilding a game to just make their audience happy and to save the reputation of the company. You wouldn't see that. You wouldn't see that from a Western company. No way.
No.
I'll absolutely come back again if they have me, Laurie.
No.
Oh, we will. And they're burning down Valhalla right now. They're burning it down. They got the fires going. They know how Loki likes to do things, dude. I love burning shit down. And
Mark says, I need to eat a slice of pizza. I can't eat a pizza, but I've got banana.
Banana, nice. That's the bananas are the new pizzas.
Holy shit.
I wish I should have had my banana topping, shouldn't I?
Well, I was wondering. I thought, should we match or something? So,
Yeah.
probably best not to.
Yeah. It's just come out the laundry. It's still wet between the arms, so I'm just letting that dry out a little bit.
Keely Chow, Roll Tide, Keely, and yes, burn it down. Do you want to stick around while I read out my super chats? Or
Sure, absolutely,
okay. Right.
yeah.
All right, guys.
You got to respect the audience, yo.
Yes, sir. Guys, thank you so very much for these this morning. I have got a $10 super chat from Samantha Joe that says,
Woo-hoo.
tossing in a few quid for the boss for the British invasion. Thank you so much, Sammy. I have got a $9.99 super chat from Adega Outlaw. Great guests, great show, best chat, and awesome host. Light some fires, Valhalla. Thank you so very much, Adega. And I said your name right because you sent me a super chat. So I won't say Adega. Captain Spire with the $1.99 super chat. Good morning. Good to see you there. Good to see you there. Any of you like coffee? Not Starbucks. Not Starbucks. So
I'm a Costa coffee guy myself.
I like tea, but not British tea. I like that American sweet tea.
Get out of here.
Loki,
Weirdo.
can I just jump in? We have a running gag. What's your toaster like? You're being asked.
Yeah. Loki.
You got to put up a picture of your toaster on Twitter.
you got to tweet me a picture.
Oh yeah, I got one of those big like industrial strength ones that you can put like a whole pizza in. So yeah, I'll take a picture of that and throw it on Twitter.
Oh God, he's got an oven. He's got a fucking oven.
Yeah, I got a toaster oven, but a big one. So yeah. Oh shit. I've got a $2 super chat from Captain Britain. Oh my God, Az is here. Yay! Thank you, Captain Britain. I've got a $1.99 super chat from Jedi Bill 797 that says Valhalla stands together. Damn straight we do.
Ice cream man, it's coming.
Oh, the ice cream.
It always goes past at this time. Even with the windows closed, you can still hear him going past.
Did you hear when he came round mine? I had it during mine as well. I was like, God, can you hear the ice cream man's coming round?
Debating on whether to run and get one, yeah.
Hopefully it's not like the ones here, because the one here pulls up. He's like, "What you want, fool? I want a bomb pop. I ain't got that." And slams the door and drives off. You're like, damn. Oh,
I don't know if this is weird or not, but I got a fucking pack of sausages on my desk. What is that about? What is that about?
Oh, and they're thick too.
Yeah, who's got thick sausages?
Richmond does. Richmond are nice.
Yeah. Oh shit!
Why did they not? Weird. Crazy.
Did someone left me these? Oh shit! Oh shit! I've got a $1.99 super chat from Max World Entertainment, and he doesn't say anything. Trey, say something. Tribbles, damn you, Loki, something, brother. And I have a $1.99 super chat from DJ Odyssey, aka Captain Kirk from last night. Damn, how I'd love to rant with Heels versus Babyface about Doctor Who.
There's been plenty of that. Oh, another bit of pop culture destroyed. Wonderful.
Has strong feelings about that, don't you, love?
Don't even get me started. Don't even get me started on that one. Bloody BBC. Unbelievable.
Are they having any luck with that defund the BBC?
It's going to happen. It's going to happen.
Yeah, it's picking up speed, definitely.
Well, if Boris it's all like if Boris manages to get through the decriminalisation of not paying the licence fee, it's all over for the BBC.
Mm-hmm.
It's all over. You can still have the license, TV license, but it's going to be all over because if they abolish the decriminalise the non-payment, there's no repercussion not to pay. So people are just going to be like, fuck the BBC.
Mm-hmm.
So the people who are sort of paying their license fee out of fear, for being fined or whatever, they can just be like, nah, I'm good. I'm good, bruh.
Fined and being harassed for not paying it. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I got harassed for having a TV license. That was the funny thing. Hey, Samantha Joe just showed me hers. Woof. Unbelievable. Samantha. That's a big one. That's a big one, girl. She's a dirty, dirty girl as well, Samantha says. Wow.
Oh, shit. I think we will leave it on that note. I don't think we can go out better than that. We can't go out on a better note than that. Guys, thank you, everyone, for being here today. Thank you, Az, for being here. And thank you, Purple Lady.
You're welcome.
Setting all this up. Thank you. I've had an absolute blast, and hell, it's my show. I absolutely love that.
Yeah, it's been brilliant. Thank you, Az.
It's been a lot of fun. Thank you to the audience for popping along and saying being cool.
Indeed. Thank you, each and every one of you. Thank you for all the super chats. Thank you for all the support. Thank you for being here every Monday through Friday and on Tuesday and Thursday nights. Thank you guys so very much, and we will catch you all next time on Mornings of Mischief.